I'm Mark Tilley and welcome back to Dirtbike Magazine's video series Year 22, where we take you up close and personal with all the motocross models available in the US today. And we're getting our first chance to ride the all-new Husky FC450 Rockstar Edition. When we say all new from the ground up. There isn't very many of the parts that will switch over from last year's standard edition. So what we're looking at now is new frame, new suspension, new bodywork, everything all brand new. This Rockstar Edition, Husky brings out just like their brother, the KTM, brings out so that their riders can be on the latest and greatest machines that the company is producing. That might not always be a great thing because there is a really sharp learning curve when it comes to a all new motorcycle like this. Fit and finish wise, probably one of the best Huskies we've seen in a long time, if not ever. This bike has a really good fit and finish. They've thought about everything from cable mounting to making sure that the wire harnesses are really tight to making sure that the contact points for the riders on the motorcycle, everything was thought out and built from the ground up. Rockstar Edition will come with stuff that we don't plan on the 2023 Huskies coming with. This bike this year, it has upgraded wheels, rotor guards, seat cover, the graphics, a skid plate. So there is some stuff that will make this bike heavier than what the standard 2022 Husky is. And yes, this bike did gain weight on the Dirtbike Magazine scale. It's got a really cool look to it. The wheels are a full upgrade and they're all murdered out black. One section of where it goes over the shock area on the 450, that there's a cover over it and you can't really see the shock, but it makes it to where the sliding forward and gripping the bike, all the contact points, you don't notice your gear hanging up on anything or anything like that. So it's really kind of cool. The frame is exactly the same between the 250 and 450. The the cases have been slimmed down. So there's a lot of little technical details that if you want all that information, head over to dirtbikemagazine.com. We have it all over there. That's enough talking. Let's go ride this thing. So we just got done with our first day of testing on the 2022 Husky FC450 Rockstar Edition. Not that much different from the 450 Factory Edition from KTM. Naturally, styling is a whole lot different. We're finding out that the new chassis on both of the motorcycles, it's a really rigid setup compared to the standard 2022 models. You have a lot more feedback from the ground, is a little bit less feedback in the front end just because of the Pro Taper bar. It flexes a little bit more, is what we're thinking. I personally went softer all the way around than what the standard setup was, just to kind of try to get the bike to squat a little bit, both in front and in the rear. And that's one thing that we're noticing a lot, is that coming out of turns, the 2022 standard model with the older chassis would squat and you could kind of feel it hook up, where with the 2022 Rockstar Edition and Factory Edition, the bike doesn't like to squat in the rear. It likes to ride up a little bit higher. It seems like maybe that's something that the factory guys are having a little bit of trouble in Supercross with. They're trying to find the setup, that magical setup that works for them. And sometimes that's the bad part about bringing out the latest, greatest stuff for your professional level riders to ride, because there is a learning curve when it comes to brand new motorcycles. The bike is fast. It definitely has really good power. The switches that are on the handlebars, when it comes to the kill switch and the traction control switch and the map switch and all that stuff, it's really refined this year. almost a little bit too refined. The start button and the stop button on one side, on the right-hand side, it took me a little bit to get used to it, and I kept pushing the map button on the left-hand side. So I think that that's all just getting familiar with the motorcycle. It does have, like we said, traction control. It has adjustable on-the-fly maps. More aggressive map on the 450 seems to be a little bit more mid and top in. I like that personally a little bit more because it doesn't make it jumpy right off bottom. But there is, just like the KTM version, there's a big difference between the two maps, and you switch it over, or if you hit it halfway through a moto or something like that, you'll notice it right away. Like I said, for me, the more aggressive map kind of comes on a little bit smoother down low. It will hit about the same in the mid and then just kind of pull longer on top. And it's, like I said, this bike has plenty of power. It doesn't have the holes in the airbox that the KTM comes with, but you don't really notice it. Like I said, fit and finish wise, contact points, all of that stuff is really great. About the only thing that we can complain about in general on this bike is, man, that seat cover really, you know it's there. You definitely, by the end of the day riding, your backside needs a little bit of relief. So, but other than that, contact points on the motorcycle is really, really good. Like we said, all of the fit and finish, really great. The styling wise is great. There's not a lot to really complain about with this, except for the fact of it's a lot more rigid overall package. Now that might change once the frames get a little bit more broken in. So again, this is our first day of testing on the 2022 FC450 Rockstar Edition. We've had a little bit of time on the KTM. We plan on putting a lot more time on this motorcycle, and you've probably saw on our social media that we have a 12 bike 450 shootout coming. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and get an alert when that video comes out as well. And as always, head over to dirtbikemagazine.com for the latest off-road and motocross industry news.